How many eggs did we get today?
The ones I just brought in, I think I brought in 17, and then the girls have a big pile in there.
Okay.
And then I brought in 2 eggs earlier.
Those are all the quail ones we're saving up for hard-boiled quail eggs, pickled quail eggs. Look at that.
So. Look at this one. We get some of those sometimes. One was blue.
I like them because they remind me of our sheep, don't they? Look at the color.
The color of the eggs, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Bug.
Hi.
How was your day?
Good.
Did you do anything productive?
Yeah.
Oh, good. And how was your day?
Okay.
Was it hot?
It was pretty hot here today.
Did you miss me?
Yes, we missed you, darling.
Aww.
We went to the swim hole and had some fun. But we first got our jobs done, which was folding laundry and hanging laundry and fixing the clothesline because it was broken.
Jobs first in the swim hole?
Yes.
That's what I did. How you doing, buddy?
Jobs first in the swim hole day.
Hey, little man, what are you doing? He's a grabber and a thinker now. I actually had to go get a job done, and then we went swimming too. And I might have missed a pretty good opportunity. Oh, sheep, I gotta move. Well, it's good to be home, and I still got some daylight, so I gotta work on that project.
Okay.
All right.
Better get it done.
I know I have to get it done. Something came up suddenly for work. Oh! Before I go over by those noisy sheep, I'm gonna show you what's the byproduct of my work today. Besides earning my wages for working today, my workmate, he went home with something special. And I may have missed an opportunity of a lifetime, but if I live enough lifetime, I may get another opportunity. So that's kind of part of the goal. But he let me take home something from work. And it's kind of the stuff we're supposed to dispose of. Check this out though. We had to do a repair on a building, and this is some of the old stuff. This is some of the old stuff. And so is that, but these two here, look at that. Galvanized roofing, these are the cover sheets. And there is 2 of those, I'm guessing they're 9 or 10 feet long. And then underneath that is some of the ones we had to pull off too. But there's at least 10 or 12 feet of those that's spotless before you run into stuff like that. That's all damaged up, and I think it's only what, 5/16 maybe? But there was 2 sheets of thin plywood too, which if you guys don't know what that stuff's worth on the street, it's kind of amazing. So anyway, I've technically got probably maybe 5 sheets that are decent, at least 10 feet. So I could make probably almost like about a 15 feet wide by 10 foot long section of stuff to have roofed and covered. And just to remind you from a recent project, when I was doing this compost stuff, and I'm gonna chipper shred these thistles first, put them through my wood chipper, but the width of this up here, that's just 2 sheets. So if I've got 5, you think about that much space that's over here, and then out again the same amount of distance, and then out another 3 feet from there. That's quite a structure, and I got a couple more lean-tos and things to do. Yes, I know. These guys here. This was a pretty grown-up area. Hey, how are ya? See, I told you they look like my sheep. Don't they look like a quail egg? In fact, the quail are right there. So I still got to shear this one. I should do that soon, probably tomorrow. See that? That's thick. This is what all this looked like. But I put these guys in here to trim down around this persimmon tree, and everything except for the poke salad they ate. So I got to get them a new section. I'm gonna get you a new section because I got to get into this section because I'm working on the fence here. I did get another load of compost. If you saw that recent video, this stuff looks more brown now. A lot of beans coming up there, different squash and stuff there, other stuff here, more squash and corn and beans there, more beans and stuff here. Planted a whole row of peppers there besides some other stuff. I can't have chickens out pecking this stuff. So since our young guinea fowl that we wound up paying $25 a bird, I can explain. You'll probably have to watch the video if you missed it. I can explain. I'll explain there. But yeah, they moved in to one of these pens for now because they're growing up. So their little spot out in the pasture was open. So I took this rooster that takes care of our chicks once the hens are done with them. He leads them around and takes care of them, watches out for them. We moved him out into the pasture, into their little fenced-in area, so that I could get this fence built so that they can free range on the other side without nibbling down my garden. So let me move these sheep, and I gotta tell you about this opportunity today that I missed. Well, I'll explain. It's tricky. Once in a lifetime thing for me. And I kind of blew it, but like killed it. Like amazing job by doing it. So I'm glad I chose to do what I chose to do. So while I work on this fencing project, yeah, guineas, I will let you guys know. First of all, if you guys are unaware, yes, those sheep there, some of them had 2 horns, some had 4 horns. They're the Jacob sheep. That's the primary breed that we have on our homestead. And at some point I'll do a full video. I started filming it at some point, but never finished. But I'll do a full video about just the Jacob sheep, kind of why we have them, about the breed and stuff like that. And I'm working on this fence while I talk to you guys, so bear with me. But the deal is, I do not have a normal job. I do not work a 9 to 5 because of some of the places I wind up and some of the things I get involved in. Even among some of my friends, they have speculations about certain things, but the truth of the matter is we try to keep our cost of living incredibly low, so that way I need less money, and if I need less money, then I need to work less, and if I need to work less, then that gives me more time at home. First of all, turning this raw land into a functioning homestead, but moreover, being here as the spiritual leader of my home, the earthly provider for my family, and you know, one who's going to be a role model for my children, one who's going to be an educator of my children, one who's going to teach and train them up in the way that they should go. So that's a very important thing to me. Very important thing to me. A lot of it came about, I think, 2014, 2015, a series of events happened that really set me on a refocusing of our entire life. But I had an opportunity today, and I was talking with my workmate, who I normally work with. He's been taking his brother with him lately on a couple jobs because his brother needed some help, some money. So I've got no problem, if I'm not in dire need of money, staying home and, you know, having somebody who needs such a thing go take care of it. So that's what we've been up to. But talked to him for a bit yesterday, and he's like, hey, we got a job that's going on. And it was actually near a friend of mine, Zach from An American Homestead. And I've done some work at this store before. And he mentioned the job and said, yeah, I think I'm going to try to start really early in the morning and then go to the swimming hole, which would be Zach's swimming hole. It's where he spends his days because he doesn't have air conditioning. You know, he lives off grid. He, on a hot day, kind of, rather than taking a siesta in the afternoon, which is popular in some tropical climates, goes down to the swim hole with his boys these days, you know. And let's talk about going to the swim hole. Now, in times past, I have seen the most gar I've ever personally seen in any particular location at once at that swim hole. They're just downstream from there. So I'm like, really? That sounds pretty good. And he goes, well, we could probably actually use an extra hand tomorrow. And I'm like, well, hey, his brother's still able to go earn something. I could go do something, and it puts me not only near a friend of mine, actually a couple of friends of mine, but also in the area where it's a pretty good swim hole and the potential of gar. If you are not familiar at the moment, I will say by way of reminder that gar are my favorite fish to eat. I have a video about how to eat trash fish, volume 1. I'll link a card above, and I'll try to put them in the description or on the end screen. If you watch this video all the way to the end, little suggested videos pop up. I always try to put stuff that I relate and put up in little cards here. I try to put stuff related to the video on the screen at the end of the video, as a suggestion for you guys. It takes me time and effort to do it, so hopefully some of you guys do check it out and watch to the end and take advantage of that. And if not, it'll be there if you ever want to. But yes, so gar is my #1 fish that I like to eat right now. And I've caught them in a net before. I have caught them jug fishing before. That was fun. I meant to make a full video out of that. I never did. I made a sneak peek, and that was it. But I also bow fished them before. And in fact, the past 3 shots I took on a gar down at the lake, I shot every one of them. 3 for 3. I'll mess it up. It won't continue that way. But at the moment, that's where I'm at, which is pretty exciting. Pretty good. I'm not that great of a bow fisherman, but I am learning and I'm improving. So I said, you know what? Yeah, I'd love to come to work. Woke up, I didn't get to bed till probably almost midnight. Maybe it was after. Woke up before 5 a.m. Got some computer work done. Processed my previous video, whatever that was. Got that out early and then took off for work and said, uh-oh, here it comes. Grabbed my bow for bow fishing. He was grabbing some fishing poles already anyway. I grabbed my cast net so I would have an opportunity to get some bait, and off to work we went. It was nice. Got there a little bit after the store opened, was able to start working, taking down all that damaged stuff, putting up some new stuff. Really good. Work went well. Fun group of guys to work with. I like my workmate anyway, and his brother. Enjoy time with him too. So good crew to work with. We keep it, get the work done seriously, but enjoy ourselves, you know, interacting with each other and having a good time while we're at work. Because I know what it's like to not have a good time at work, and those days are terrible. So we get done, touched base with Zach and said, hey, we'll probably be heading down to the swimming hole shortly, about to leave here. He says, oh, we're probably heading down in a bit too, you know, well, Lord willing, see you there. I said, all right. And we get there and get our bows out and kind of head down to a spot where I saw the most gar I ever seen in my life at one time. Hopefully that changes this year and I see a lot more. And weren't really seeing anything. My workmate had on a smallmouth bass. I caught a couple smallmouth bass on some minnows that I caught for bait. And then we continued on and thought, well, it's really slippery. I better make it back up. So I make it back up. Zach's there with his boys. And we're swimming and hanging out. And all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? Why do I not have a pole in the water? I can cast a pole out and watch it while I swim. So get some bait, cast a pole out, and we're swimming. And all of a sudden I see the pole going. And here's where the story gets interesting. This is so exciting to me. I absolutely loved it. The pole is going. I leave the bail open, so the line's just running. And get over there, and Zach's youngest son, Caleb, had come over with me, right? So I'm sitting there, and I pick up the pole, and the bail's open, and I wait, pull out a little extra line, flip the bail shut, and I wait, and it kind of tightens up, and I set the hook, and I get tugging. I hand the pole to Caleb, and he grabs it, and he starts reeling. A big swirl comes out there, and I'm like, whoa, I don't know what this is. All of a sudden I catch a flash of it, and I'm like, it's a gar. I thought maybe it was a smallmouth bass or something. I'm like, we got a gar on the line. It looked about like this long. Are you kidding me? I jump in the water because we don't have a net, so I get out there, you know, so I'm able to grab this thing hopefully as it comes. He's fighting it, it kind of hits the surface once, goes back down, then it jumps out of the water. This thing is, I don't know, maybe this long? I'll show you an actual picture of it. Or a handful of pictures, but yeah, it jumps out of the water all the way, thrashes around, drops back in, swings over, hits me, hits my shirt, and I grab it, and Caleb's reeling in the line, and it's not even attached to the fish anymore. The line snapped as it ran into me. Boy, they get excited. I get too animated telling the story, they get excited too, those guineas. But yeah, so here's the deal. I have never in my entire life caught, you brought me peas, bug? Aw. Pea fresh from the garden, come here. I mentioned in the last video about my children not chewing with their mouths full, and then I took a bite of something and said a couple things and then continued chewing, and people called me out on it, as they should. I don't like to be a do as I say, not as I do type of person, but the deal is I've never caught a gar on a fishing pole in my life. It was a goal of mine this year. Here I had my first opportunity ever. Noisy little guys. First opportunity ever, and in a sense, you could say I blew it, because I handed the pole off to a young boy, and he was able to reel that thing in instead. Now, truth be told, I did cast it out, I did bait it, I did set the hook, I hooked up, but kind of in the process of living life, enjoying things, esteeming others more highly than yourself. Hey, Blizzard, settle. I gave another the opportunity. I'm gonna see if these guys will settle down. Hey, children. Well, guineas decided to get quiet, and part of the job that our dogs have on this property is to warn us of intruders and such. So if people are walking by the street in front of the house, he's gonna be barking. Anyway, do I regret not being able to reel in my first gar on a fishing pole today? I must tell you 100% that the way I see it, if I had tried reeling in my first gar on a fishing pole today, I may have very likely lost that fish. Remember, it came off before it made it to shore. I was a ways out in the water, and because I positioned myself out there, we didn't have a net or nothing, we were able to get that fish. And if I would have tried to do it all myself, I probably would have lost it. I'll try moving up in the garden while I hopefully still have enough light to finish this video. But yeah, I don't think I would have caught the fish if I would have tried on my own, which is one of those things where then you realize, man, there's good reasons to you know, take care for other people, concern for other people. Okay, I'm 40. I've never reeled in a gar on a fishing pole. At this point, my young friend Caleb, he has. That's awesome, good for him. I wish I would have caught a fish like that growing up. That would have been awesome. Didn't really have the opportunity, so couldn't. And then we baited up another pole and casted them both out, and my workmate caught a gar on a fishing pole. His first in his life, and his was smaller and it was coming in straight, so I let it come right past me because I was out in the water again, and said, man, flip or die, like get it on shore if you can. He flipped it, he got it on shore, it went like right up into the bushes. He flipped it good, but he was able to land it. And then, check this out too. Even though gar is my #1 fish to eat right now, I sent them both home with my workmate. I said, you know what, take this home for you and your family. You know what I mean? If we would have caught another one or two, we could have easily had enough to feed both of our families. But it didn't make sense to like have two families not get a meal out of something when one family could. So even though it's my favorite, I sent it home with him. I don't regret any of it. I had a blast. It was so amazing to see, so cool, and it really leaves me optimistic for this year as it progresses, because I want to keep learning and developing skills and learn to catch more gar, and especially more gar and things like that. I'm gonna run out of complete light in about half an hour here. Look at these peas. I love peas, and they're almost on every upward trellis on my property right now. There's tons of them. I gotta get out here and pick savagely tomorrow, as many as I can, but I like these guys. Over like the English peas, because you can eat the whole thing. And the English peas, to shell them, throw away the shells, and just get the little peas out of the inside. Too labor intensive for me, for it to make sense to me at this point. But yeah, just happened to wind up in the garden next to them. But hopefully there's kind of a moral to this story, guys. Would my workmate have given me all that metal and plywood if I hadn't sent him home with the gar? The world will never know, because I chose to send him home with the gar. So we don't know. We don't know. But that's a possibility. Would I rather be able to cover a building, build another lean-to off one of my buildings or some other stuff, whatever I'm going to do with it, or have part of a meal for my family? Well, I'd probably rather wind up the way that it did. Also, if I would have just said, hey, check it out, I got an awesome fish on, watch me reel this in, I probably would have lost it. Instead, a child got to reel in an awesome fish, and we actually got to catch it. And I got to help. You know, I played a major role in landing it, because, you know, I was able to grab it. And yeah, so think about those things, you know. It's not always about us. It's also about others. And then when we do things for others, we get blessed in the process too. So it's amazing how things work out sometime. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me so far. And to a degree, sure, I blew it. But I think I'll get other opportunities. And I don't regret a thing. It was awesome. So I gotta get to work. I just rolled in. It's almost sundown. I haven't got anything done here today because I haven't been here today, but I'm about to. So see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Please give this video a like, leave a comment. That helps our channel so much, you guys don't even know. If you really care, if you really appreciate that type of stuff, please leave a comment. And if you already did, it's okay if you join the 2 comment club. I'm gonna try to reply to more comments as I'm able to too. Maybe strike up a conversation. Go introduce yourself to somebody else. If somebody has a comment you like, tell them you like their comment. That's okay. That can be the 2 comment club. One for me, one for somebody else. Be a blessing to somebody else, right? Kind of part of the moral of the story. Thank you guys though, and we'll see you next time. Papa out.
Thank you for watching.